The next part I want to show you is simply very important, and you will use it in your next assignment. Now I'm asking you, if I print this piece of like this map here on a piece of paper, do you think this is going to be usable or useless? I will just move you around to see my point, huh? So I created a surface, I have contour lines, and simply I will go ahead and print this one on as a piece of paper. My question for you is, do you think this is going to be useless or somebody can use to read the ground and interpret the ground? Any help?
Useless.
Sir, do you know why it's useless?
It doesn't have any actual elevations.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. The answer is correct 100% because look at this. Yes, we do have contour lines. However, none of them has any label, which means anyone will look at this contour lines. Yes, there could be a feeling of where are the good areas. For example, this area here, yes, it has good slope, but we don't know whether this ground is going up or down. Same in here. We have lots of contour lines, so we know that there is a problem here, like lots of steep slopes, but we don't know whether the ground is going up or down. The only way for you to continue and read the contour map is to add labels. You guys agree or disagree?
I agree.
Okay, so the next part I'll show you, which will help you on your assignment, is to learn how to add some labels. So the way we do it is software has option to add some labels to your contour lines. Let me show you how. Step number one, as usual, I click here on the surface. And you guys know when I click on the surface, the ribbon will change. Look at this. Those are not the same as I hit escape. When I hit escape, you can see this is my ribbon right now. If I click on the surface, you can see I get access to all the commands they apply to my surface. Now on the far left, what do you see? You see add labels. On the far left, there is add labels. So if you drop this menu, add labels, there are several options, starting from add surface labels, to slope, to spot elevation on a grid, single, contour multiple at interval. I will do my best to teach you most of them. However, I can tell you the first one is not really useful. It just adds the name of the surface, which is not really, has no meaning. Second one is a slope. So if you try to click on a slope, and for example, it's asked you 1 point or 2 points. Okay, so 1 point is simply if you click here, like let's say hit enter, and then choose the point on the surface, you can see it provides you with the maximum slope along the surface. You can see it's minus 14.821. So you can see it slopes here down because of the minus, it slopes down. Also, you can simply choose another one more time, but you can choose slope, but this time you can say 2 points. To choose 2 points, looks like you have to type T, huh? Are you guys following? To choose the option 2 points, you type in T, because look at the command line. The command line, it says 2, so T in blue. So type in T. And then I can choose my first point, and I can choose my second point. And in this case, it's any direction, not the maximum slope. Any direction, and it can tell you between this point and this point, the slope is minus 19.421. Okay? Minus 19.421. Okay, not really. I mean, I know this, you can do that, but not really very common. But really, what you want to do here is come here and say contour single. Let's see what contour single does for us. So if you say contour single, so it means I want to label one contour at a time. I'm going to ask you guys, should I click here on this contour line, or should I click on this one, or should I click on this one? Which one you think is right? I'm going to zoom out.
Green ball.
The green one. And could you please share with us why the green, not the red?
Major contour.
Amazing, because yes, you're right, because we said We do not label minor contour. We only label major contour. So if I go here to the green, take a click, you see what happens? It wrote for me automatically 130. Okay, let's do it here. So we move, and then we come here and click one more time. It says 120, and you can see we can keep going around and adding some labels to my contour. Now the next one is, let's go to the next option, which is called contour multiple. And to be honest, this contour multiple, it is super useless. And the reason why it's super useless, because you simply pick any 2 points like here and here. And every time this line crosses any contour line, you see what happens? You see what happens? You just draw like a fence line and it will label all of them. Is that something we need to do? Not really. So you can see it says here 100, 98, 96. So simply it will simply label all the contour lines, which is something we don't want to do. Now the next one, I'm going to say undo because that's something bad, not okay. I will say undo. And the next one is really handy. I'm going to show you the next one. So the next one is called, I'll click here on the surface. I get the ribbon, I go to the label. Last one is called contour multiple at interval. And this is handy. Why it's handy? Because watch this. It's going to ask you, select your first point. So I'm going to label this contour line. And then I will say second point. And then it will ask you, give me the interval along the contour line. Give me the interval. And we will see what this command does for us. Let's say I want to label every 50 meter. Okay, hit enter. Oh, no. Sometimes those commands, to be honest, they don't behave well, but let's try to do it one more time, please, okay? So we'll come back here, we'll click on the labels, we'll contour at interval, please behave, and we'll click on here, and we say contour interval is 50 meter, or maybe 25 meter. So did you see what happens here? Did you see what happens? What it does, this command does? This one doesn't really label so many contour lines rather than labeling the same contour line at interval. So between this text and this text, how far? How far? It is our interval, which is 25 meter. Now, why this is handy? Anybody can tell me, is that handy? I think it is. You need to think about it. What if I have a very long contour lines? For example, look at this contour lines. I have this contour lines which goes here from here and goes all the way. I'm asking you, would it be sufficient if I just label here one, like the elevation at one location only? What do you think? Like here is my map. I will write here the elevation number, but it's only one time along the contour line. Is things okay or not okay? Anyway, so guys, you need to understand when we create contour maps, one label along a very long contour line is not okay because think about it this way. I'm a designer. I'm working on my map and there is a 100 here while I'm working on this area. So, okay. And so what happens here visually, I need to follow my contour line until I see the 100 to know that the elevation is 100. However, if you label your contour line reasonably, like let's say one label here, one label here, and one label there, then in this case, it will be more usable for map user or designer. Okay, so we typically, for a long contour line, we typically add more than one label. Now, the last thing I want to show you before we move to another topic, something called spot elevation. Spot elevation. And spot elevation is not the first time. If you go back to, I think, 2 lectures ago, where I showed you the contour map, I'm asking you here, okay, could you please help me? I'm asking you here, if I printed this map here, can anybody know what's happening in this area? Like you have a closed contour line, and those are minors, so there is no number. Anybody would know if this is a summit or depression?
No.
No. So how can we do that? I think I already discussed. that if we add here a spot elevation, any point of non-elevation within this closed contour line, it will clear confusion. Watch this. So I'll come here, click on my surface. My ribbon has changed. I go to the far left. I drop and I say spot elevation. It means please label for me 1 point. Watch this. So I click on spot elevation. All you do is you come here, pick any point within your contour line, and you can see the software wrote for you 95.16. Remember, it's very, very important when you get your assignment. In the assignment, and I will ask you, could you please add for me spot elevation wherever required? Wherever, huh? So what happens, some students do not understand the meaning of a spot elevation, and they go and just randomly pick any point on the map, and you say, here is my spot elevation. Anybody think that this is right? Like, for example, watch this. So on the assignment, somebody will come here and pick here spot elevation, and a spot elevation here. I'm asking you, is that required?
No.
No. So the spot elevation, please do the following. When I ask you for spot elevation, don't just randomly add them. We add them in a very, very few situations. For example, once you see any closed like contour line, go ahead and add one spot elevation. Also, I'll show you on the border, for example, here. Okay, so here, you can see this area. There is no way to tell that my ground is keeping going up or going down, except if I add spot elevation. So right now, I would know, for example, if I come back to here, add labels, and I contour single, and I click on this contour line, which is says 80. Can anybody tell me what's happening to the ground? Is it going up or down?
Down.
Going down because the contour line here is 80, and then the spot elevation is 97.8, so the ground is keeping down. So bottom line is, when I ask you, please add for me spot elevation wherever required, don't just go ahead and throw for me any points. Following, you have to add spot elevation wherever you see a closed contour line, and also on the border. Bottom line is, wherever you have a confusion and the contour line doesn't give you a full picture of what's happening, then add spot elevation to clear the confusion. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what? I kind of changed the order of the lecture on the fly, because what happened here today is I'm going to work on your assignment number 3. I'm going to publish assignment number 3 either today or tomorrow. And I will ask you, do you think if I make the deadline next Friday will be okay? Like 1 full week, given it's a full or almost a full civil 3D exercise? Or you can, maybe I can help you, I can push it even to the following week. What do you think?
I'm fine with a week.
A week, okay, great. So I'll think about it and will publish my assignment shortly, like probably sometime tonight or maximum tomorrow. And my promise is at least you will have 1 full week to solve it, okay? And the whole assignment will be about contour lines from the start to the end, using manual calculation or also using Civil 3D. And that's why I changed the order of my lecture a little bit, because I have another discussion for you. And so it depends on our progress. I could finish today, and maximum I will finish next class. But the thing is, even I finish next class, this will not be on the assignment. So whatever we do today, you are 100% good with your assignment. You can finish your assignment 100% based on what you learned today. Okay, now, so there are some applications of surface. Why I'm creating a surface? For sure, one of the application is one designer, for example, a highway designer will take this map and will simply try to say, you know what? Here is my road. I'm going to draw a line from here. That's the center line of my road. I will avoid this bad area. I will go here. Then I will head with this area here. Then I will go this way, and then I will simply go this way, and then finally go this way. Okay, so some designer on this map will, or maybe is going to use this map to come up with a design for the road center line. And you can see by understanding of the topography, you can avoid bad topography and align the road with a good slope. Good slope. For sure, the road is not really straight line. You can understand that we need to add a fillet. So let's say I add here a radius of 250 or maybe 250 super big. That's a design process, which is really not the scope of my class. You can see here is a radius. Here is another radius. Okay. Another radius. And then another radius here. So that's very big. So let's say fillet radius 100. Okay. And then finally, we add here another radius. So think about this one as someone who can use this map to come up with the road center line. And again, that's one example. However, there are some other uses that you can use your surface or model. I'll show you here a couple of them in the class. One is called visibility. Okay, so watch this. If I click here on my surface, and I want to check the intervisibility between 2 points. And what does mean intervisibility? It means what if I stand on one side, on one point, can I see the other point? This is something we can totally check on our computer as long as we have a surface or we have a 10. Watch this. So you can see here, I chose my surface, like click on the surface anywhere. You guys know what happens, huh? You can see I got a ribbon where it shows you some commands that you can apply for your surface. Among them is check visibility. A check visibility or visibility check. When you click on this option here, okay, you can say point to point or zone of visual influence. I will train you only on point to point because I've never used this one. Probably I can research it. But for now, let's use point to point. Okay, let's do it. So point to point, it will ask you, please always read the command line. It's asking you, what is the height of the eye? Of course, if you are sitting at one area, your eye is not on the ground, not on the surface. Your eye, for example, let's say 5 feet. So I'm going to say here 1.5 meter. That is the height of my eye. And then specify the location of your eye. Where are you standing right now? So let's say I'm going to stand here. Okay. Number 2, it will ask you specify the height of the target. Remember, sometimes we look at the ground and sometimes we look at a little bit higher. Okay, so the height of the target, I could say, for example, 0. It means 0. Can I see the ground from this point? It means there is no target. The target is in the ground. So let's say 0. And then hit enter. Lastly, it will ask you, where is your target point? I want you guys to look at my screen and see what happens. Please look at my screen. So my screen, there is an arrow and it's dynamic. As I move left and right, it's always a changing. I'm asking you, look at my arrow. What does it look right now? It looks like green. It means from this point, I can see this point clearly with the given eye height and target height. Now I'm going to show you, what if we go here? What do you think? What happens right now?
Getting red.
You cannot see because it's hidden. Look at the arrow. It turns into red. It means no, from this point, you cannot see the other point. Let's do it. I'm going to show you a few examples. So I'll put here 1. So you can see red. It means no, you cannot see. How about here? Okay, yes, we can see. How about here? No, we can't. And so on and so forth. So you can check the visibility between 2 points using this tool on the surface. Let's do a few of them so I can not see here. How about here? How about here? You can see as I move my mouse and point to different point. Yes, we can see here. However, behind this topography here, that my point will be hidden. Okay. And by the way, there is something very interesting. Do you know where is your last line of sight? You can see if I skip, my line goes from green to green continuous to red dashed. You know what does it mean? It means my line of sight will hit my surface here. And the last point I can see is this point here because my line of sight will simply hit here. Okay, let's do another exercise. Let's do it one more time. So enter. In this case, I will make myself like a monster, like huge, and I'll make myself 5 meter. Huh? I'm gonna stand 5 meter up. And then the location of my eye is the same, like let's say here. And the target, I will keep it 0, same thing. And see what happens. You can see the taller I am, what happens? You see what happens? If I'm taller, then I can see far. Okay, so my line of sight intersect with my surface at this point here. So this is something you can do. It's called visibility check. And the last thing I want to show you here before we start our new exercise, it's another use of my surface. Look at this, please. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to check something called water drop. And what this option does, it simulates for you, simulates. What if you drop some water somewhere on the surface? Where this water will go? Let's watch, huh? So all you have to do is click on the water drop. And those are kind of a extra option because simply the software will create for you a polyline to simulate the trajectory or the path of the water drop. And there are some options here. Where do you want to place your the polyline? Layer 0, so you can choose it in layer 0. What do you want to do? You make it 2D or 3D polyline. So those kind of are extra options. It is up to you. Then once you hit OK, then what happens here? If you simply drop your point, let's say I'm going to drop my point here. Watch this, please. So I'm going to drop a water drop here. See what happens? So the software will simulate and will tell you the water will go along this line. And here there's equal slope. So some of the water will go this way and rest here. And some of the water will continue along the spaces and then will go here. And some of them will go this way and go this way. This is a simulation of what happens to your water drop if you drop it somewhere. In general, there is something called flood simulation, which is very important. Look at what happens when we have a flood or we have lots of rain. So there are some simulation, but it's not really Civil 3D. There are some other software that simply shows you what if you have a precipitation in one day. Where are the areas that will be flooded and where are the areas that will be high area? Very, very important. So in my class so far, I have kind of demonstrated for you 3 different uses of surface models. Number 1, we can use them for our design. Number 2 is we can do visibility check. And number 3, we can do water drop analysis. Water drop analysis. And this will take us to the last part of our class, and hopefully we're able to finish today. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do the following. Please go to your D2L right now, D2L, and go to the area of the Civil 3 tutorial under module number 1. So we're still working on module number 1. And then download the following file, only one file called road survey. Road survey. Please take your time, download this file right now. I have done already.
What should be the second point after specifying the height of eye when you are checking the visibility?
It's your point that you're trying to see or check the visibility to. So you choose one point, or sorry, you choose the height of your eye, then the first point, then you input the target height, which is if you're looking straight to the ground, then it's going to be 0. Then, or if you're looking at, let's say a tripod, okay, so you'll put 1.3 meter, or looking at the second floor, so it could be 3 meters. So you add the target height, and then finally you place your target point. Remember, you're checking the visibility between 2 points. So the 2 points should be known, and also the target height should be known, and also the eye height should be known.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So as I said, take your time, and I'm asking you to download this data file because I have an exercise for you right now. An exercise for you. We will do it by using this data set, road survey. Now, what I will do is I'm going to have a new file, brand new file. We'll open brand new file. That's brand new. I will go ahead and import my points. You guys know by now, you've done this probably a few times. I will go ahead and import my points by going to the menu points, by going to the import/export, and finally click on import the points. You guys know this, huh? You know this window. Number one, you click add my file. You guys know my file is not BO123. We've done with this one. So my file right now is road survey. Here is my file name. Next is hit open. So my file is here. You need to check the format. So I'm telling you right now the format, which is not a secret. If you go, if you take your time and simply look at where I downloaded, it's here in downloads, and you go to road survey. Watch this. What you see here is this is the road survey data, which is point number, easting, northing, elevation, and description. So close this one here. We know the format. I'll come back here and I'll say PENZD. This one here. Point number, elevation, northing, point number, easting, northing, elevation, and description. Take your time, look at the preview, make sure that the software has interpreted the file as anticipated. And then finally, don't forget to add your points to a point group. I'll call this one road data. Okay, I'm just giving a name to my point group. Then hit OK, and you guys know a name, a file, a format, a preview, a group. Hit OK. Now, where is my points? The points, if I zoom extend, here is my points. Those are the points. Okay, now, let's go ahead and build a surface out of these points. I need to remind you to build a surface, and this is a brand new drawing. I come here to my tool space, I right click, and I say create a surface. You click here, don't take this name, say road surface. Okay, and I will leave everything as is, hit OK. Why I don't see anything right now? Can anybody tell me why we can't see any surface right now? Any help?
You built the container, but you didn't put the points in.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's what we will do right now. We'll start to push some data into your surface by going to the tool space, by maximizing the surface, by maximizing the definition, and then finally go to point groups, mark it, then take a right click, and go ahead and say add. When you say add, it shows you, as usual, it shows you all the point groups in this drawing. Don't use underscore all points rather than using raw data. Then finally, hit OK. And what happens here? We have the point group is filled, and also we have a surface. Now, I'm going to do some formatting to explain better for you. So my formatting will be just for now, just hide all the labels, no labels. Hit OK. You can see all the elevations are gone. I'm having only the points. And the next format is change the style of my surface to triangles. I'm asking you, do we have any in this drawing? Do I have any style that will show triangles only?
No.
No. So what does it mean? It means I have to customize. So again, take this guy, copy it, change name first, which should be triangles only. And this one here, remove the copy, and then right away go to display where you hide major and minor, and then hit OK. And this is your new style that will show triangles only. Let's hit OK and hit OK. Now, as I said, what do we call this guy? Anybody remember what do we call this guy here? TIN, your 10. And you know what? It's very hard to see in the 2D view. So this is a plan view. It's very hard to look at visualize the surface. Did I teach you anything last class to better visualize the surface? Did I teach you anything in the last class to better see the surface in 3D?
I think you can hold shift and then just wheel around.
Yes, you can do that. And I said you can do that. But to me, I find it's very difficult to do that using the navigation wheels.
Object
So,
view.
yes, thank you so much, sir. Object viewer. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to click on my surface, then take a right click, and you can see down here, there is something called object viewer. And if you do so, it will take the whole thing into object viewer. And you can see here, I can very easily rotate things in 3D. Okay, I can change my visual styles even by going here and make it shaded. Okay, now I'm gonna zoom in. I want you guys to take your time and tell me, do you think the surface that the software created is 100% correct, or it got some error? And if there is any error, tell me what are the errors you see. What is the problem? Remember, this is a road, huh? It's a road. I will give you more zooms and more directions where you guys can identify and see where is the problem.
There are a couple of straight jobs. They are not continuous.
I'm guessing, maybe you're using not the language I like or I want, but this area looks like it has a problem, and this area also has a problem. I'm gonna give you some other direction, huh? So it looks like the software has made a mistake, because look at the road. The road, there should be like a 2 lanes where you can see like the cars will move on here, and then there is a side slope. Okay, maybe this way. Okay, there is a road and then there is a side slope. While the software here has made a mistake. And what is the mistake? It went from the center line of your road straight to the point at the end of the side slope. Please, if you see those problems, please confirm. Say yes, there are some problems. I'm still waiting. So you guys see no problem, or you see some problems?
Yes, there are problems.
There are problems. So the thing is, guys, here is the point. So sometimes software will make a mistake, not because it's a bad software at all. It's a fantastic software, but because the way that the software was told to create the surface, okay, doesn't apply in some cases. I can tell you in 99% of the cases, the software will do a fantastic job, while in some very rare cases where you have a sudden abrupt change in the slope, you will get this problem. So you can see here, we have a road. I'm going to show you probably the cross section. Huh? So here is the cross section. We have a road that, for example, has two lanes, and then we have a side slope. You can see there is abrupt change here. And sometimes the software, because the way it's programmed, it doesn't respect the change, the break line. Look at this name, break line. So really the break line is the edge of your roads. Okay, so this point here, look at my cursor. So this point here going forward, this is a break line. And what does it mean, break line? It means there shouldn't be any triangle crossing this break line. Are you following? So the meaning of break line, it means there shouldn't be any triangle that crosses this break line. And you can see there are some mistakes. Look at this. There are some triangles. They went from the center line straight to, so one point here, another point here, and those points are the center line. And then the third node is on the end of the side slope. Shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen. Now, why I'm doing this? To show you the importance of break lines. If you guys have problem, let me know now. If you cannot see the problem, let me know now. Because the next discussion is we're going to work on our project or our surface and fix it. Okay, so I'm going to show you in general how we fix this problem, and then I will show you the steps on the software. So in general, what we should do is look at this line here. Please look at my cursor and follow this line. This line is the road edge. So what we have to do is we need to incorporate this line here as a break line. And the meaning of break line is don't cross me, never cross me. You can make triangles on one side of me, you can make a triangle on another side of me, but never cross me. And by involving those edges as break line, software will fix the problem. So this is the idea. Now time to show you how to do that in Civil 3D. Any question before we do it? Okay, let's see. So I'm going to close this guy for now. You know what? Here is the problem. I'm going to right now create my break lines. The way we do it is, number one, we have to draw our break lines. And I'll show you how. Number one, make sure you change your OSNAP to node. Node. Why node? Because simply every civil 3D point is a node. So I want to snap to the node. Hit OK. Number two, use a command called 3D poly. I'm writing the command for you. Please take a look. The command line is called 3D poly. And the difference between a polyline and a 3D polyline, anybody knows the difference? Polyline and 3D polyline. Difference is very simple. A polyline can have only one elevation, so it stays at the same elevation forever. Like for example, like a 10. Okay. How about 3D polyline? A 3D polyline, it can go up and go down in terms of elevation. So it has to be 3D polyline. Let's do it. So I'm going to start my 3D polyline. And remember, I'm snapping to my nodes. So here is the first one. One. And then I'm going to go to this point here. And then I'll go to this point here. And then I'll go to this point here. And then this point. And this point here. Okay. So I'm done with the first edge or the first break line. We'll do one more time on the other edge of the road. So one more time. A 3D polyline. I'll go to here. Remember, this point is the center line. This point is the right end of the road on the right. And this is the end of the road. And this point here is the end of the side slope. So my point should go here. I'll continue. It will connect to this point. It will connect to this point. And this point. This point. And then finally this point. Now I know it's very hard for you to see. And what I will do is I'll just change colors so you guys can see, huh? So I will change this guy and also this guy here. So I'm going to change color. So hopefully now it's better, huh? And I'm not sure if I can increase the width. So I'll try width 1 or maybe width 5. Doesn't seem to change the width, huh? But you guys can imagine that this is a break line and this is a break line. I'll keep them highlighted and selected. And you can see, where is the problem? Look at this. Where is the problem? Do you see any triangle crossing the break line? See this guy here? This side here of triangle is crossing the break line. Same on this side. Look at this. So we have a triangle that crosses the break line. What is next? You simply have to incorporate the break line into surface definition. Next is, you go here to my surface, you go to definition, and then you go to break lines. How can we add break lines? Any help? Anybody can guess? How can we add those break lines into definition of my surface?
Right click.
Thank you, sir. Correct. Right click and then add. Once you add, you have to give them a name, any name. For example, I can say road edges. And then you can leave all those parameters as default and hit OK. What's next is you should include like select them. Because I already selected them before I started the command, you can see right away they have been added. Okay, and they are here. Now, guess what? The problem is fixed. And again, how can be fixed? Let's go ahead and take everything to my object viewer. Let's go ahead and right click, go to object viewer. Now guys, watch this. I'm asking you, the problem is fixed or no?
Yes.
Beautiful, huh? Beautiful. So there is no problem because again, what I did is I drew those 3D polylines as on these points. Then I added them to the surface definition. And what this means, do never cross me. Make some triangles right of me, left of me, but never cross me. And you can see my road is beautiful, huh? You can see there are 2 lanes of the road and there is side slope. I'm hoping that you guys understand by now the importance of break line. Break line is one of the most important things in surface definition. Also, I want to emphasize that you can see here, this surface right now, what do you think? It has point group and it has break lines. And that's something I mentioned early on. I said, when it comes to surface definition, you can build it out of point group plus break lines plus boundaries plus contour lines. Anything you wish, software can combine them for you. Now, the next part, it is going to be fun, okay? Which is, what if I go back and simply delete those guys? Or come here and say delete. Same thing, whether you delete them here or you come to the tool space and say delete. You know what happens? We go back to square zero. Everything will go back. Let's do that. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Okay, and you can see, what do we get? Can anybody tell me, what is this yellow triangle? What does it mean? I need some help, please. Can anybody remind me what this triangle means?
You need to rebuild it.
Thank you, sir. It means it's out of date. It means I need to go here, come back here, and say rebuild. I will rebuild, not automatic. I will make it rebuild only. Okay, and let's go back and look at the at our 3G. So I'll take these guys. I will go to my object viewer. I'm asking you, do you have a problem? Do you see the problem?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to show you right now another way to fix the problem, but you know what? This method is only for professionals, not for beginners. The one that is piece of cake is break lines, and you will see this shortly. Break lines, you draw them, you add them to the surface definition, you're good to go. No, nothing you have to worry about it. But I'm going to show you the next method, which is only for professionals, okay? Which is, what we will do right now is I'm going to do something called swap edges. So if you remember, if I click on the surface, the ribbon will change. And we can go to edit. And so far today, we learned about delete line. And we also learned about raise/lower surface. Watch this. I'm going to go to swap edge. And you know what swap edge mean? It means switch diagonals. If you guys remember when we discussed about diagonals and we said diagonals is not easy as you thought, software will do some calculation to pick the best diagonal. Here we have the option to swap them. Watch this. So I clicked here and I know here I have a problem. You can see my edges here in blue, and you know that this triangle here is wrong. Because why? Because this side here has crossed my break line. So it means this side is wrong. Let's go ahead and change it. So click here. Okay, now, what else? What else do you see? What is the problem? Which line has a problem? I'm asking you, I'll give you options. Do you think this one has a problem?
No.
Zoom out.
No.
The one
No.
has the blue line.
This one that crosses the blue lines, thank you so much, is the one that has a problem. So let's change it. And well, look at this. Do we have anything that crosses the blue line? So you can see here, nothing crosses the blue line. It means we're okay here. How about here? Which one has a problem? This one? This one has a problem? Say yes or no.
No. No.
So this one?
Yes.
Yes, let's click on it. Okay, do we have anything crosses the blue line? I think, yes, we do have one here. It's here, So let's do that. Let's click this one guy here. Now, you can see there is nothing crosses the blue line. And I'm saying that problem is solved. And to check that, anybody to tell me what to do? To check that all the problems have been solved?
Project viewer.
Object viewer, So I'll select everything, right click, object viewer, and let's see. Look at this, beautiful, Beautiful. So you can see my road is back and everything is okay. So in today's class, you learned two methods. One is a straightforward kind of blind thing. Once you're able to draw the break line, you can add them to the surface definition, while the other one needs some experience on picking which line you need to swap, okay? My recommendation for you is use break line, because the other one is tricky, and sometimes since forever they keep swapping edges and they don't converge. They don't know which one to change. Okay, any question for today before we say goodbye? Okay, as I said, looks like there's no question. So as I said, number one, what you have to do is watch for the assignment. Once you see the assignment, please use the knowledge that you learned today in the last class to finish the assignment. It should be straightforward. And my recommendation for you is read the tutorials. And also, if you don't follow 100% the class, I see today there is only 17 in class, which is almost 50%. That's not really great. But if you miss the class today, just watch the recording. And if finally, if you have any problem, you know what to do. Anybody knows what to do if you are reading the tutorial, if you're watching the video, but still you have problem? What to do?
Email you.
Thank you so much. Okay. You guys have a fantastic day.
Thanks. Have a good day.